For this project, we are working on enlarged pieces of fruit, really close up of them. I chose to do like an orange type of fruit, and I'm looking at it as it's like a wedge. And what we're going to be doing is whatever piece of fruit that you choose, you should be focusing on using value, which is the lightness or darkness of the color. And you should also be trying to choose a color scheme because that's what you'll be graded on for this project. I chose the color scheme of complementary colors, so I went with the oranges and the blue background to create my artwork. I already started one wedge. I'm going to do two wedges on my artwork that are right next to each other. So the other wedge that I'm going to do, I'm going to map it out in a white pencil so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm going to make it coming in off the other corner of the page. So I'm just going to start with an arch. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to input the wedges, the pieces of the fruit. So something like, I'm going to go straight across here because the top is typically straight across when it's a cut piece of fruit. And then I come in and I'm going to create those wedges. So they just come down. And you're going to be looking at an image. So whatever your image is what you're going to be trying to base your artwork on. And the wedges get larger as they get closer to the rind, which is this outer part. So they just come up next to each other. And you can't kind of see the top of this one, so I'm just going to put this in here. And then I'm going to start to use my oil pastel to create the value that you're seeing over here. So I'm using these oil pastels to create my artwork. I went with the reds and the oranges. My main color is orange, but I'm using reds to create darker shades. So what I did, we're going to be using some blending, so I kind of mapped it out with my oil pastel to get started. And you want to lay it down pretty heavy, so then I'm pressing, but not pressing to break my oil pastel, just pressing to get a nice amount down. And I'm coloring in. And then what you want to do is you want to choose the next color, and since my main color is really supposed to be orange, I'm going to grab my orange and I'm going to start blending this red into an orange, creating kind of a red orange that will go into the base, just basic orange. So I'm going right over that red with my orange to get it to blend in, pressing nice and hard again. And I can go over the entire red area if I want to get a little more orange up in there. It's blending a lot with my other oil pastel, but I would tap rather than wipe your hand across it. But you can use your finger to blend the oil pastel together. And then I want it to really go into more of an orange. And then I want it to get lighter, so I could use either like a white to make a lighter orange with my orange oil pastel, or I could use like a yellow. On this one over here I used a yellow, so I'm going to try that again. So I'm just going to come in toward the bottom here, put in my yellow, but I don't want to leave it unblended because it's really supposed to look like it's blending from one color into another, and that's a little too much, looking like a candy corn right now. So I'm going to come in with my orange over the top of that and finish blending it in to make just a different tint of my orange, okay? Then I'm going to come up in here and try to keep blending it. And again, you can use your finger to keep blending. Don't press too hard with your finger that you're pulling off oil pastel, and you can always go back in and build up the colors more if you want it to. And then what I did is I went in with white and I added some reflections. So something like this. And again, just by continuing to blend with your oil pastel will bring those other colors up into them. And for like the skin, I did just the orange, but then I also wanted it to be a little darker in parts and lighter in parts. So you could do some white if you wanted the skin that's closer to the actual orange to stand out a little differently. I guess this one could be more of an orange or a grapefruit. It's kind of more red like a grapefruit, but whatever your image is what you'll be using. And then I kind of did that same thing that I did on the skin in here between them. Kind of did the white of the orange, and between the wedges I did a little white mixed with the orange. So again, if you're looking to get a different color, you're just going to be blending that color with a white. You could even do a black, but black is a little more challenging to blend because you got to use less black. And you're just going to keep going back until you feel like that wedge is what you like, and then you can move on to the next piece and you're going to end up with something like those, depending on your choice of fruit. And I chose my blue background to go with my oranges to do a complementary color scheme.